Hello, everyone. Makadini. So Makadini means hello. I am Zimbabwean. I am Canadian. I was born in Zimbabwe and I lived there for 18 years. Then I came to Canada and became a Canadian. So I'm pretty happy to be celebrating Canada Day today. And I'm bringing a book reading to you. And we're going to read this book. It's called Living in Different Countries. I wrote this book about 2 years ago, and it was a way for my son to know a little bit about Zimbabwe. So basically, he is telling the Canadian side, and I am telling the Zimbabwean side through the lens of a 9-year-old girl called Tanya. So let's get to it. So as you can see on the book cover there, we have two flags. One is Canadian and the other one is Zimbabwean. And you can also see them in the background there. Obviously, Nathan is living in Canada and the cousin Tanya is in Zimbabwe. So let's get to it. I hope you enjoy and maybe learn a few things about Canada as well as Zimbabwe. All right. Did you know? So Zimbabwe is a landlocked country located in the southern part of Southern Africa. This means Zimbabwe is surrounded by land. Zimbabwe has 4 neighboring countries: Zambia, Mozambique, Botswana, and South Africa. How about Canada? Canada is a country located in the northern part of North America. Canada is not a landlocked country. Canada is surrounded by oceans. The oceans get water from lakes and from rivers. Canada is one neighboring country, the United States of America. Where do you live? Many of you watching probably are in Canada, and some people maybe in Zimbabwe, Uganda, I don't know. Let's see about Tanya, one of our main characters. So Tanya is a 9-year-old girl who lives in Zimbabwe. She lives in a rural village called Chihota. She is in grade 3 and has 2 sisters. Do you have brothers and sisters? I do. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I am the middle child. So my older sister lives in South Africa. My older brother lives in South Africa. I am here. Then I have a younger sister who lives in Zimbabwe. Then I have a younger brother who lives here in Canada in Calgary. What about Nathan? So meet Nathan. Nathan is a 7-year-old boy who lives in Canada. He is in grade 2 and has 2 sisters. Nathan is Tanya's cousin. The 2 cousins have not met in person yet because Tanya lives in Zimbabwe and Nathan lives in Canada. They will visit each other soon. So as I said, this book was published 2 years ago. So in the last year and a half or so, Nathan was actually able to travel to Zimbabwe to meet his cousin Tanya. So now they have met in person, but they had never met each other before. All right, moving on. What does your house look like? You can see here, there is Tanya's house. Let's hear about this house. Tanya's house is very beautiful. The kitchen and the bedrooms are not attached, but they are next to each other on the same yard. The kitchen is covered with grass. Tanya's village does not have electricity, so they use fire for cooking and for warming themselves in winter when it's cold. When they sit around the fire, grown-ups usually tell stories called ngano. These stories are passed from generation to generation. In most cases, the fire is lit in the kitchen, but when the weather is nice, the cooking can be done outside. Tanya's mom cooks their food while sitting down because the stove is low and has to keep the fire burning. So here's a picture of Tanya's mom kneeling down as she's cooking. At Tanya's house, the bedrooms are mainly for sleeping and keeping clothes. Friends and relatives who visit during the day usually go to the kitchen and spend their time there. Tanya shares one bedroom with her two sisters. They sleep on the floor on top of a mat known as rukukwe. I'll show you a picture of the rukukwe. Let's see the three little girls. Oops. 3 girls sleeping there on the mat. That mat is called a rukukwe. So what do? They put a few blankets on the mat to make a little mattress so it will be ready for their sleep. If Tanya or her sisters want to go to the washroom in the middle of the night, they have to ask their parents to take them because it is dark outside and the toilet is not attached to the house. Because there is no electricity, it can be difficult to see at night. But if the moon is out, it will light the way for them. In the washroom, there is a Blair toilet. It doesn't have a seat, but it is a small hole. You cannot flush the Blair toilet, but the hole is tiny and very deep, so everything disappears in the ground. That's the washroom. Tanya's family does not have a bathtub. When someone wants to take a bath, they have to get water in a bucket. If they want the water to be warm, they have to heat it using the fire stove. Children usually sit down on a stone outside while either their mom or grandmother washes them. Adults always bath in a small building with a toilet, but they still have to use water from the buckets. They have to be careful with the bath soap, otherwise it will fall into the toilet hole and they will not be able to get it back. Usually people place a sheet of metal over the hole of the toilet to keep the soap safe and to keep everything clean. Here is Nathan's house. So Nathan's house looks familiar to yours, probably. Nathan's house is also very beautiful. The rooms are all under one roof. Nathan's house has 3 different levels: the main level, an upstairs, and a basement. In addition to the house, Nathan's family has a garage for parking their car. This is very helpful when it's winter time and if it's snowing and very cold outside. Nathan's house is very big and has more than 20 windows and doors. Even the washrooms have windows. Nathan's main floor has many rooms: the kitchen, washroom, home office, living room, and dining room. Nathan's mom uses the stove to make their meals, but sometimes she uses the microwave too. Since they have electricity, they can turn on the kitchen appliances with a button. They use a dishwasher to wash and dry their dishes. After the dishes are cleaned, they are then put away in the cupboard. Nathan's living room is a fireplace that uses electricity. When it's winter and very cold, Nathan's family sits around the fireplace while watching television, just like Tanya's family sits around the fire listening to stories. All bedrooms are on the upper level of the house. Nathan has his own bedroom and bed. Nathan's two sisters have their own room that they share. The laundry room is also on the top level of the house. Nathan's mom uses a washer and dryer to clean their clothes. The washrooms have bathtubs and toilets. The toilets can be flushed and everything works like magic. There's hot and cold water, and Nathan always takes a warm bath or shower. At night, if Nathan wants to use the washroom, he doesn't have to go outside. He just turns on the light and off he goes. So here is Nathan's room and the washroom there. Moving on. Let's talk about languages. How many languages do you speak or understand? Tanya's first language is Shona, and that's the language she speaks at home. At school, Tanya also learns in English. Tanya can speak, read, and write in both Shona and English, but she's much better in Shona. There are 16 official languages in Zimbabwe. However, there are 3 main languages: English, Shona, and Ndebele. How about Nathan? And how about you? Nathan's first language is English, and that's the language he uses at home and at school. At home, his mom and dad sometimes speak in Shona, but Nathan struggles to understand this language. He only knows a few words and prefers to use English because that is the only language he can speak, read, and write. There are 2 official languages in Canada. Do you know what they are? Yes, English and French. But in Zimbabwe, because I speak Shona, I was tempted to say Shona there, but they are Shona, English, and Ndebele. But when I'm here in Canada and I meet somebody who speaks Shona, I will be so excited each time, and I am tempted to speak in my mother tongue, which will be Shona. Moving on. How do you get to school? How do you get to school? Tanya walks to school. Tanya does not have a school bus or a car to take her to school. Tanya walks a long distance. It takes her an hour to get to and from school. Tanya and her classmates usually walk in groups so that no one gets lost and everyone stays safe. Tanya and the other children wear school uniforms when they attend school. Do you wear a school uniform? Maybe. Tanya and her friends cross a river on their way to school. If the river is too full, they have to go back and wait until it's safe to cross. Sometimes it takes many days for the river to settle, and Tanya and the other village children have to miss school. The village parents sometimes help the children to cross the river in a scotch cart. So here's the scotch cart. It's the scotch cart. And it will be pulled by the oxen or horses. The cart is pulled by 2 oxen or donkeys. This can be very dangerous, but the parents are always extra careful when crossing the river with the children. How about Nathan? And how about you? So here's a picture of Nathan, his yellow bus. may look familiar to you, or maybe you walk to school too, maybe you bike, maybe you take the transit bus. But how about Nathan? Nathan's mom drives Nathan and his sisters to the school bus. And then the school bus driver takes them to school. His mom also picks them up at the bus stop after school. Nathan and the other children from his school do not have to wear uniforms. Instead, they wear their everyday clothes. So when you go to school, what's in your lunchbox? At the top, there is Tanya's lunchbox. And at the bottom, a typical lunchbox for Nathan. Tanya usually has homemade bread in your lunchbox. The bread is made out of cornmeal, a little bit of flour, and sugar. Sometimes there are foods such as sweet potatoes that Tanya gets to take to school. She also gets to bring fresh fruits such as mangoes, blueberries, and peaches. Tanya helps her mom pick fruit from the fruit trees in their village. And Nathan takes a lunchbox with lots of different foods to school every day. His teacher said he has to follow Canada's food guide when preparing his lunchbox to make sure he has food from all the food groups. On a typical day, Nathan has a sandwich, cheese, water, and some type of fruit or vegetable. All right, how about water? Where does your water come from? Tanya drinks lots of water. She does not get juice very often. She and her sisters usually have juice on special occasions like Easter or Christmas. Tanya gets drinking water from different places. Sometimes Tanya's family traps rainwater in open buckets. So this is what I mean when I say traps rainwater. So they have two big buckets there and they're trapping the rain. Tanya loves it when it rains because she doesn't have to walk far to get water. Tanya and her family believe that rain catching is the cleanest way to get drinking water because it's straight from heaven. When the rain stops and the buckets are full, they use big lids to close the big buckets that hold the water until it is ready to use. The water is usually cold and great for thirsty throats. If there is no rain, Tanya and her family can use the water well that is in the village. A water well is made by digging a hole to access groundwater. The water wells are built by the villagers. Usually, dads are the ones who work together to make sure there are enough water wells for all the families. Tanya collects well water in a bucket that is attached to a long rope. Tanya throws the small bucket into the well and holds on to the rope. Once the bucket is full of water, Tanya pulls it out using the rope, which is hard because the bucket is heavy. Tanya has to concentrate and keep her balance so she doesn't fall into the well. Tanya's younger sisters are not allowed near the water well yet because they are too young. Tanya's dad found a large metal sheet to cover the open well when it's not in use. It is very safe now. Most parents in the village think it's safer to go to the borehole than to use a water well. So here is a water well and here is a bowl. There are only a few boreholes and they are very far away. So most of the time, Tanya's family ends up using the water wells. Just like a water well, a borehole is a long, narrow hole drilled to access underground water. A borehole is very safe because it's covered and has a hand pump which keeps the water clean. After getting water from a water well or borehole, Tanya and her sisters have to transport the water to their house. To maintain their balance, they put the buckets over their heads and they walk home. Do you think you can do that? Okay, how about Nathan? Here's a picture of Nathan here in Canada. Nathan drinks lots of water too. There is juice in his house all the time, but Nathan's parents always tell him water is better than juice. Nathan has two options when he wants to get water to drink. Nathan's kitchen has a filtered water faucet attached to the sink. Nathan's dad says this water is the best because it's very clean. Nathan can also get water to drink from his fridge. He simply presses a button to choose cold water and he can even add ice cubes if he wants to. How about you? Let's move on to a different topic. Do you like helping at home with chores? What's your favorite chore? Tanya helps with dishwashing. First, she goes to get the water to use for the dishwashing process. The dishes are washed outside of the house. After getting water, Tanya then uses two big bowls as sinks. One bowl is for washing dishes with soap and the other bowl is for rinsing the dishes. So here's Tanya. You can see the two sinks here. So she washes the dishes in here and then she uses this drying rack to dry the dishes. And then when she's done drying the dishes, she takes them back in the house and they have this mud shelf that they use to keep clean dishes. All right, so when she's done rinsing dishes, as I mentioned, she lays them facing down on a huge drying rack called dara. The dishes will air dry and then she'll collect them and put them in the house on the beautiful mud shelf in their round kitchen. There's Tanya again. Tanya's second favorite chore is gathering firewood for her mother to use when she cooks their meals and for when the family wants to warm themselves up. Tanya used to go to the forest to pick up dry wood for use at home. Most of the time, she goes with her friends because it can be dangerous to go in the forest alone. How about Nathan's and his chores? Nathan also does chores. Nathan and his sisters help with sorting laundry so that their mom doesn't have to spend too much time separating the colors. Nathan's job is to make sure the clothes are in different groups. Once his mom approves, Nathan puts the laundry in the washing machine. Nathan has to keep an eye on the timer so that he can let his mother know when the laundry machine stops. Nathan then helps with unloading the washer and putting the laundry into the dryer. It usually takes about an hour for the laundry to completely dry, so Nathan can watch TV or play until the timer goes off. When his mom is folding the laundry, Nathan's job is to pick out all the socks and pair them. He will also put them in the drawers where they belong. So here's Nathan helping his mom. Do you help with chores? What do you like to do? Moving on. What is your favorite game? Tanya likes to play Raka Raka. Raka Raka is a ball game. It is so much fun and requires at least 3 players. If there are many players, they can split into 2 teams. The playing team tries to dodge the ball. If possible, the dodging team catches the ball and then they throw it so far away so that they can get a chance to fill a cooking oil bottle with soil to win the game. All the other team members run after the ball. So here is a closer look at the kids playing there. Nathan. Nathan likes puzzles. He says puzzle solving is so much fun, but he has to think and think and think. Sometimes he works with tiny pieces which are harder to solve than bigger pieces. Nathan prefers to solve puzzle problems on his own, but sometimes his friends like to help him if they have a play date. Do you like hide and seek? Tanya and Nathan both enjoy playing hide and seek. Tanya plays outside the house because she has a huge yard and can hide in the cornfield behind big rocks or even large trees. Can you see Tanya hiding there? Nathan plays hide and seek inside the house because there are different levels and rooms to use for the game. Nathan enjoys hiding under the bed in his room, in the bathtub, or in one of the cabinets in his house. There is Nathan there hiding. This is my favorite. Swimming. Can you swim? Tanya and her friends swim in the river that runs near their community. When they go to the river to swim, they don't go with swimsuits. They don't even have swimsuits. They just jump in with their clothes and then leave them to dry afterwards while they take a bath in the river. Sometimes Tanya and her friends get in trouble for going to swim in the river because it can be dangerous for children when there are no adults to watch them. Tanya's mom said children should not go swimming alone because someone could drown. So there is Tanya and her friends or maybe sisters playing. Nathan. Nathan swims at an indoor swimming pool in his community. But before going to the pool area, Nathan has to pay. He always brings his swimming clothes and always gets a life jacket. Nathan is not allowed to go to certain areas in the pool because of his age and height. The pool lifeguard said those areas are dangerous for young children because they are very deep. So here's Nathan at the pool, ready to jump in. Let's talk about seasons, different seasons. Different seasons. In Zimbabwe, Tanya has 2 seasons. The wet season from November to March and the dry season from April to October. The dry season is colder and the wet season is warmer. When it's cold, Tanya has to wear layers of clothing even though it doesn't snow in Zimbabwe. Tanya has never seen snow, but she has seen pictures of it. Tanya prefers the warm, wet season, but it can be hard to walk to school when it's always raining. If the river starts overflowing, she and her friends cannot cross the river, so they have to stay on that side until the river settles, or the grown-ups transport them using the scotch cart I showed you earlier. How about in Canada? In Canada, Nathan has 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Spring is from March to June. Summer is from June to September. Fall is from September to December, and finally winter runs from December to March. Nathan has clothes for all 4 seasons, and in winter he has to wear layers of clothes, just like his cousin Tanya. Nathan gets lots and lots of snow in winter. He loves to play in the snow, but it can be very cold sometimes. If there is a snowstorm, he may have to miss school until the roads are clear. So what are differences between Canada and Zimbabwe? Differences. The 2 countries are located on different continents, but they are beautiful in their own ways. Children may experience different ways of growing up, but each country raises unique children that are talented and special. Nathan and Tanya come from 2 very different backgrounds, but they are very special. Both of them are very special. What makes you special? Let's hear a message from Tanya to Nathan, and maybe to you too. Tanya says, please come and visit me in Zimbabwe. I will show you many things and teach you many games. Be ready to go in the forest to gather firewood so my mom can make some food for us to eat. And here is Nathan's message to Tanya, and maybe to you. And Nathan says, please come and visit me in Canada. I will show you many things and teach you many games. Be ready for the cold and snow, plus lots and lots of fun. So this is the end of our book reading. But I want you to know that even though this book talks about life in Canada and in Zimbabwe, it should be noted that people in the same community can actually live very differently. The lives of the characters in this book do not necessarily reflect the lifestyles of others living in the same communities. I hope you enjoyed my book reading. And once again, happy Canada Day. I hope to see you sometime soon. Happy Canada Day!